Protests against the government's desalination plant and water pipeline continue. But the Premier says it's his big plans keeping the economy in surplus despite the global downturn.
It certainly was a turbulent start to Parliament, the return of Mr Theophanous and these protesters rallying on the front steps against the government's water policy, all on a day the Premier would have rathered the attention be focused on his first parliamentary speech of the year.
And hundreds of disgruntled Victorians protested outside Parliament today, reminding the government of its past failures. They demanded answers on what the government is doing about water, power and public transport.
Despite temperatures dropping since last week's searing heatwave, protesters were still hot under the collar.
What are we going to do here, Brumby? We'll give you the vote.
They say the city's rail system, power and water supplies are a joke.
Give Brumby the arse!
Last week, tens of thousands of people were left with no way home after more than 730 trains were cancelled during the evening peak.
Much of Melbourne has no usable public transport.
Residents in regional Victoria came to voice their anger over the lack of water.
Go and ask them why they won't build another dam in the Otways.
The Brumby government's planned desalination plant is still infuriating Victorians. They say last week's blanket blackouts proved our electricity suppliers can't cope now without adding a power-hungry plant.
It will use lots and lots of power.
Protesters say they'll continue to stage demonstrations and fight the Brumby government until it starts to listen.
I think over time we'll see these protests start to dissipate.
Alicia Grabowski, 7 News.
Anti-desalination protesters have taken their message to the steps of Parliament House in Melbourne. They joined Plug the Pipe campaigners from Central Victoria in a rally that was designed to get the attention of Environment Minister Gavin Jennings. The event was timed to coincide with the opening day of State Parliament. It attracted plenty of attention. The protesters were calling for democracy to be restored in Victoria and for the Brumby government to scrap plans for both projects.